We begin the newscast with President Bongbong Marcos's first official state visit as chief executive. Now, among his first agenda in Indonesia was to hold a dialogue with the members of the Filipino community in the country. Let's get more details on this. We have Maricel Halili reporting to us live from Jakarta, Indonesia. Good evening, Maricel.
Good evening, Risa. Like what you've said, President Bongbong Marcos has arrived here in Jakarta, Indonesia at around 12:35 this afternoon, Indonesian time. And his first agenda for today is to address the Filipino community here in Jakarta. There's about 7,400 Filipino workers who are actually based here in Indonesia, and most of them are all professional workers.
Maricel, how did that meeting went with the Filipino community over there? How was their reception of our president?
The reception was very warm. President Bongbong Marcos actually mentioned during his speech earlier that the operation of Department of Migrant Workers is expected to start on the first quarter of 2023. He said that this is a very important department considering that they want to ensure that the rights of all overseas Filipino workers will be protected, and they actually President Bongbong Marcos actually said before the OFWs that they are working on giving more opportunities to our Filipino workers back in the Philippines so that OFWs, if ever they choose to stay abroad, it will only be an option. And they have another option to stay in the Philippines if they want to.
Maricel, what do we know as to the expectations of our president meeting his counterpart, the Indonesian President Joko Widodo, tomorrow?
Okay, we are actually expecting President Marcos to be meeting with Indonesian President Joko Widodo. As we all know, President Marcos is here upon the invitation of President Widodo. President Marcos himself said that he will discuss issues that will strengthen the bilateral relations between the Philippines and Indonesia. Of course, they are also expected to witness the signing of some bilateral agreements in relation to defense and security when it comes to the comprehensive action plan over the next 5 years. And of course, there's always a possibility that the issue on the West Philippine Sea will also be discussed.
Now, apart from those, do we have any idea if President Marcos Jr. will actually negotiate the release of detained OFW Mary Jane Veloso?
We actually asked that issue earlier, Risa. Unfortunately, it's not part of the official agenda presented before the Philippine media. But of course, the possibility of discussing that particular issue is always there. Secretary Susan Toots Ople of the Department of Migrant Workers admitted that, of course, the case of Mary Jane Veloso is the most urgent case among the 60 Filipinos on the death row worldwide. But we can see that they are very cautious in discussing this particular case because of its sensitivity. And she said that they will just let the Department of Foreign Affairs lead when it comes to this particular matter. But unfortunately, we're actually waiting for President Marcos if he will mention the case of Mary Jane Veloso during his address before the Filipino community this evening. But there was no mention about that particular case.
Maricel, other than the meeting with President Widodo tomorrow, do we have anything else in the president's agenda? What do we know?
Based on the initial programs given to the members of the Malacanang Press Corps, President Marcos is expected to visit the memorial to offer wreath for the heroes. And of course, he will be visiting the palace here in Indonesia to have a meeting with President Joko Widodo and discuss several issues. He is also expected to meet with the business community in Indonesia and to visit a mosque here. He is expected to stay here in Jakarta up until on Tuesday, September 6, before flying to Singapore for another state visit.
Well, thank you for those updates. That was Maricel Halili reporting to us live from Indonesia.